Trump just posted the most delusional tweet about his dismal relationship with world leaders. President Trump may be popular in North Korea after his whirlwind trip to the G7 summit and for talks with Kim Jong-un, but his claims on Twitter today that he still has a great relationship with the leaders from Europe and Canada show once again that he is delusional. It is not just that Trump lies with the practiced ease of a lifelong con artist, but that his exaggerated view of his own accomplishments and relationships sets in motion new misunderstandings for the future. Trump spit out tweets today around the time that he was finishing dinner that paints a picture of his impact on the G7 and other world leaders completely at odds with reality. Perhaps his handlers in the White House hide what Merkel really said after the disruptive meeting, which ended with the US being the only nation that withdrew from signing off on the final communique. The withdrawal, so to speak, via tweet, is of course, sobering and a bit depressing, Merkel told the RTV network in Germany. Merkel added that like Canada, the European Union will now prepare countermeasures against US tariffs, meaning new tariffs on US imports, as the trade war ramps up. "We won't let ourselves be ripped off again and again," said Merkel, taking on an unusually combative tone. "Instead, we act then too." Emphasizing the US versus them hangover from the G7, Merkel's economy minister Peter Altmaier added that the uproar at the G7 summit in Canada has brought the EU even closer together. Which is another way of saying, even farther from Trump. Trump's relationship with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau after the G7 left the relationship with America's closest neighbor and biggest trading partner in shambles. From Singapore, as he withdrew from the G7 communique, Trump tweeted insults to Trudeau that have his countrymen calling for a boycott of US goods. Outraged Canadians have called for a consumer boycott of the United States, reported The Independent. All kinds of targets have been suggested in opinion columns and postings on social media, from companies that sell goods associated with President Trump or his family to a broader ban on US holidays, reports The Independent on Canadian reaction. In an op-ed in the Toronto Star, a Canadian writer shot out this opinion: "So, if this president insists on punching you in the nose and eating your lunch, why would you continue to pretend he's still a great neighbor and go over to his place to spend your time and money?" The classy young French president, Emmanuel Macron, preferred to take the high road, but his anger comes through clearly in his remarks. Macron said international cooperation should not be dictated by fits of anger and throwaway remarks. "Let's be serious and worthy of our people," added Macron, "we make commitments and keep to them." That last line is a reference to the seething anger in Europe, Canada, and elsewhere that the long-time partnership with America on security, democracy, and economic cooperation has been trashed by Trump, who embraces Russia and North Korea, but not the allies who banded together to win World War II. Europe must take its fate into its own hands and no longer imprudently follow the US, Merkel said, speaking for herself and other world leaders. So for Trump to act like he can impose tariffs, abandon treaty obligations and insult longtime friends without any consequences is as foolish as his claim everyone got along famously in Quebec. Trump can tweet until he dulls the screen on his cell phone, but the only one who thinks everything is going great between him and the most important of the G7 leaders is the president himself. And that is a big problem for America as it tries to maintain its position of leadership, business, and diplomatic power in the world.